From Conway, South Carolina, it's NCAA Regional Baseball presented by Capital One. Tonight, a regional final. The Washington Huskies sitting in the driver's seat at 2-0. UConn trying to win and force a deciding Game 7 in this regional tomorrow night. A look at our bracket, how we've gotten to this point. We got started on Friday. Coastal Carolina beat LIU. Washington over UConn in the elimination game. UConn knocked LIU out. Last night it was Washington 11-6 over Coastal Carolina. Earlier today, fun ball game between UConn and the Chanticleers, with UConn getting an 8th inning home run to win 6-5, and so it sets up a championship matchup, at least a chance for a championship for the Washington Huskies. Good Sunday evening and welcome back to Conway, South Carolina. Alongside former Mississippi State Bulldog and big leaguer Jay Powell, I'm Richard Cross. Two teams that have got the same goal in mind. It's get to a super regional. For the Washington Huskies, it would be the first time ever. For UConn, first time since 2011. Obviously, we know what these two teams are playing for.
We know what they're playing for, and you got two teams really in two programs that are looking to kind of take that next jump and make that next step. And I think it's a big game, obviously, for both of them, and not only for these two teams, but for both of their programs.
A big win earlier today for UConn. They trailed early. They took the lead. It was tied. It was 5-5, and then in the 8th inning, Christian Fedko at the plate. First career home run. Pretty good time for the first one.
Absolutely it is, and every time it seems like UConn has a big inning, Christian Fedko is right in the middle of it. He's kind of a little spark plug, gets lower in the lineup, but he's always out there scoring runs.
A guy who has not been a little spark plug, but a big spark plug for the Washington Huskies. A mountain of a man. Joe Wainhouse swings it from the left side. The bat looks like a toothpick in his hand. He hit a home run that left the entire ballpark on Friday, and then yesterday became just the 7th player to hit one over the batter's eye in straightaway center field here at Springbrook Stadium. He can crush.
He can crush it. He's one of the most feared hitters in the Pac-12, and we're getting to see firsthand in this regional why he's so good.
Washington with the win advances to their first ever super regional. UConn trying to push it to tomorrow. On the mound tonight for the Washington Huskies, Jordan Jones. He is making his 16th start, 17th appearance of the year. Jordan Jones, sophomore from Kent, Washington. The right-hander, 6'2", 184 pounds. He's 6-3 on the year. He's got an ERA just below 3.5 on the season.
Jordan Jones, a true 4-pitch guy. He's got a slider and a curveball. He throws any pitch in any count. Got a good mound presence, and as you can see, he's 88-91. Good fastball, good changeup. Very consistent pitcher. He's going to be around the strike zone, and that's what you like to see in these type of games.
Having to play 2 games in the same day is difficult, but sometimes when you're riding momentum, you don't mind coming right back to the ballpark. That's the case for UConn. They picked up their 37th win of the season earlier today. 37-21-1 on the year, and Mike Woodworth leads off, and he takes ball 1. Michael Woodworth hitting .302 on the year, top of the lineup. Prado had a home run earlier today, just his 2nd of the season. Feldstein hit a monster shot earlier today, his 14th home run of the year. Woodworth gets ahead of the count early, 2 balls and no strikes. That ball's up just a little bit. It's 3-0 to Woodworth to start the ball game.
Yeah, you can tell there's a lot of energy in that UConn dugout.
Woodworth out of Alameda, California. Takes a strike. It's 3-1. Woodworth had a couple of singles in the game earlier today. 2 for 5. Pushed his average up over 300 for the year. He takes inside for ball 4. Leadoff walk for UConn and Michael Woodworth. Defensively, Washington, same lineup they've gone with in the previous 2 games. Cirillo, Ward, and Jones in the outfield. McIver, Levi Jordan, who's been really good at shortstop. Graffinino and Schiffer on the infield with Nick Cale catching. And again, Jordan Jones on the mound. UConn, a team that earned an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament, regional play. with a number 16 RPI. Here's a fly ball to center. Ward took a step back, now comes in. And there's one out as Prado flies out to center for the first out of the game.
UConn definitely has a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. You know, they were in the mix to host, like we've talked about all week. When they didn't get that host, they kind of had that chip on their shoulder. And I think Washington also has it. You know, you could tell from the conversation with Lindsey Maggs in our pre-regional interviews that he was very adamant about he thought there should have been more teams from that Pac-12 that got in, and they felt a little disrespected also.
Zach Susi takes ball one. Pac-12 got 4 teams in the NCAA tournament. Washington's 2-0. Oregon State is 2-0. Stanford lost last night when Cal State Fullerton. Chase Chamberlain hit the walk-off home run at the bottom of the 9th inning. UCLA is 1-1, playing in the Minneapolis Regional. 1 ball, 1 strike to Susi. So the SEC sitting at 17-3 with 10 teams in the field. Big 12's been good at 8-2. Pac-12 you see 6-2. A little tough for the ACC, including having Florida State as a national seed eliminated. Runner goes, lined the opposite way. A base hit for Zach Susi. And Michael Woodworth goes first to third on the play. So a chance early on for UConn in this game to get on the board.
That's what UConn likes to do. They like to put pressure on the defense, and we really hadn't seen a lot of that in the first couple games. It seemed like we started seeing more of it in the elimination game today against Coastal Carolina, just a hit and run, and Susi does a good job staying with the pitch, driving the ball the other way.
So runners at the corners, Woodworth at third, Susi at first, and Isaac Feldstein coming to the plate. Senior from Palo Alto, California. That would be the home of Stanford University, now on the opposite side of the country. 14 home runs this year, including a big one earlier today. The winner of this regional, whether it's Washington or UConn, is headed west next weekend. Stanford is a national seed. If they win their regional, will host. And while those sites are not official until the NCAA announces them, if Cal State Fullerton were to, as the 2-0 team in the Stanford regional, win, then they would host if Washington were the winner. Both of those teams 3 seeds. UConn is a 2 seed. There's a scenario where UConn could potentially host. Pitch misses up for ball 3, 3-0. Likely would be in Norwich at the minor league ballpark there. And one of the UConn coaches before this weekend, the last time they hosted, the crowds were just outstanding. Over 6,000 for their games. There's a strike. Cutting Feldstein loose 3-0.
Good guy to cut loose. I like it. I think you be aggressive early. You got your best guys who you know are the guys going to win the game for you. Let them swing the bat if they get something to hit.
3-1. Ground ball foul, third base side. Earlier today, Isaac Feldstein in the 7th inning. Absolute no-doubter. He hit it out of the ballpark over the boardwalk beyond the left field wall. It's a 2-run home run. He drove in the first 4 runs in the game for UConn.
That entire at bat, he missed about 2 other pitches. He kept throwing those sliders, and he kept hanging them, and he kept saying it. Just he's flirting with danger, kept throwing that hanging slider in there, and he finally got one out over the plate. He just hammered it.
3-2. It's fouled off again. Going back to the 3-0 pitch where they cut Feldstein loose, when you were on the mound, did you have a sense of when a guy had a 3-0 green light?
Sometimes you do. It's just situational as far as that goes. Certain guys in certain situations, you know, they're going to be swinging 3-0, and you have to be able to be a little more careful. But, yeah, you had a good idea. A lot of times you could just sense these guys are swinging. You don't see that much in the major leagues as much as you do, it seems like, in college.
Outside, ball 4, bases loaded. Second walk of the inning by Jordan Jones. And now a golden opportunity for UConn. Jason Kelly, the pitching coach for the Washington Huskies, will go out and chat with Jones.
Great opportunity right here for UConn, and an opportunity for Washington to kind of try to right the ship. You see him right there, more balls and strikes early for Jordan Jones. And even though Washington, you would think pitching should be in a better position than UConn, just because having played one less game, you still don't want to have to go to that bullpen this early with the potential of possibly playing another one tomorrow if you lose.
Washington in pretty decent shape. Joe Demers threw 107 pitches in an 8-inning performance. He was dominant in the regional opener. Knowles didn't make it very deep yesterday, 3 2/3, but he threw 82 pitches. After that, Bergman, Hardy, Emanuels, you would think that all of those guys would be able to come back for the Huskies.
Absolutely. Especially Hardy. He's a big guy to the pen.
Up and away for ball 1 to Troy Stefanski. North Stonington, Connecticut is home for Stefanski. There's a strike on the corner. Good pitch from Jordan Jones. Jones has worked 89 innings this season. Teams are hitting .246 against him. He's allowed a bunch of extra base hits. He's given up a total of 86 hits. 32 of them have been doubles, triples, or home runs. This one's lifted into center. Late break in for Ward. That'll be an RBI single for Stefanski. UConn's base runners kind of had to read that one down. A 1-0 start for the UConn Huskies.
I think it fooled everybody. They thought that ball off the bat was hit harder than that. You see the base runners, everybody kind of freezes, and Ward kind of froze also. It took that first step back and allowed the ball just to fall. But coming off the bat, it looked like it was hit harder than it was.
One of those where you get a big swing, but it's hit off the end of the bat. It's just kind of deceiving.
Yep, it just kind of falls out there.
Now for UConn, having played earlier today and earned their way into this ball game, couldn't have started any better. John Topa out of play on the right field side.
I'll tell you, the at-bats we've seen from UConn starting really yesterday, about the 4th inning, about the time Kate come in the ball game, they're using the whole field. They're staying inside the ball batter, letting the ball travel. They were so pull happy, just trying to jerk everything that first game, and they have just been a different team ever since then.
More confident looking swings. Topa works it to 1-1.
A little bit of that is probably to be expected. Getting a regional, the juices are flowing a little bit, and also in this park, you know, it's a home run type park, and you get up there and that's the first thing that enters your mind. You want to jerk and hit it out of here.
Jim Pender's coaching in the third base box. He's the head coach in his 15th season. Picked up his 525th career win earlier today. There's a strike on the corner. One ball, 2 strikes. This would be a big out for Washington. Trying to minimize here in the top of the first inning. 1 run across for the UConn Huskies. Fouls it off to stay alive.
That's one of the few sliders we've seen from Jordan. That's a good pitch, good out pitch there. Started on the corner. Tried to get a chase out of it. A nice job. Just doing whatever he could. Just try to stay alive right there.
Got a bunch of games that have either just started or are about to start, with teams having their first opportunity to play themselves into a super regional. This pitch outside, it's line foul again. Topa not taking any chances on a called 3rd strike there. Topa in the game against Coastal Carolina earlier today was 2 for 3 with a walk. Zach Susi at third, he singled. Feldstein at second, he walked, and Stefanski at first had the RBI. Bloop single out into shallow center field. Ground ball right side. That's a base hit through the 4-hole. Susi will come home to score. Here comes a throw to the plate. It's out in front of home plate. Feldstein scores, and UConn leads 3-0.
Another base hit. Another hitter using the whole field. Topa does an excellent job here. He gets behind the count, 2 strikes, and just takes what Jones gives him, singles to right field on a good fastball away, and not trying to do too much. And that's been the whole key for this UConn offense.
So a 2-run single for Topa. Drives in his 28th and 29th runs of the year. Here's Chris Winkle, the 7th man to come to the plate in the top of the first for UConn. Still only 1 out and a runner at third base. There goes the runner. Throw to second is in time. That's a big out because now UConn will have to have a base hit or some help from Washington to get that 4th run home.
A little surprised to see them go on first pitch, but like we've talked about, that's kind of their deal. They like running. Nice throw by Cal right on the bag. Nice tag. Almost was able to get underneath that tag. And that's something you got to watch. There's a shortstop right there. Levi Jordan needs to make sure he goes to that bag with the ball and not try to go out to the leg.
There's a strike to Winkle. Count evens at 1-1.
You start trying to tag a body part and end up getting underneath the tag.
Now Winkle behind in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Second time this weekend that UConn has scored in the first inning. They scored 1 run in the bottom of the first against Washington on Friday. Jeff Uhlenhop is the third base umpire. And Darrell Arnold calling balls and strikes. Bill Fisher at first base. Jeff Wright at second base. 2-2 to Winkle. And a full count now to the first baseman for UConn. Huskies playing in their 20th NCAA tournament all time. They've made 5 regionals in the last 9 years. Their last trip to the College World Series came in 1979. So it has been a while. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Jones. First and third with 1 out. 3 runs across for UConn. Could have been worse. We go to the bottom of the first. Jeff Kirsten, the starter for Connecticut. The right-hander, 6'4", 189 pounds, from California, transfer from Sierra College. Kirsten's 4-3 on the year with a 4.21 ERA.
Strike thrower, and that's what we've talked about. It's been so important for the teams, UConn and Washington both. He's 86, 88. He gets a lot of ground balls, and he needs to get outs early in the count. As you see on your screen, that's going to be key for him. And he's been pretty good. He does give up more than a few hits per inning, but his walk ratio is low. And being a ground ball guy, he's going to get you some double plays. It's going to get him out of some innings.
Washington got the win last night over Coastal Carolina in that 1-0 game, pushing Coastal Carolina into the elimination game earlier today. Big inning for the Huskies with the second inning when they put 6 runs on the board. First pitch from Jeff Kirsten is a strike. Cirillo, Ward, and Kale at the top of the order. Then it's Joe Wainhouse. And Wainhouse, the only Husky in double-digit home runs this season. There's a chopper left side. Prado has to wait on it to come down. He's able to throw it over. The sun really at this time of day plays tricks on the defense, especially the guys on the left side. Topa, Stefanski, and Feldstein in the outfield. Moriarty, Prado, Woodworth, and Winkle, the infielders for Connecticut. Zach Susi is catching. You saw that ball popped into the air, and it didn't go really high into the air, but you saw immediately Prado shading his eyes, trying to fight it just to find the baseball.
He almost had to play it like a fly ball. That was how bad that sun is right now.
Sun here in Conway sets over the right field, first base side of the stadium. And if you're in left field, it's kind of directly in your eyes. 2-0 to Braden Ward. Got a ball that has come onto the field down the left field line. A couple of kids out there playing catch on the berm.
Getting a little work in.
Small crowd, understandably so, after the host, Coastal Carolina, has been eliminated. Few Coastal fans have stuck around or come back to watch a little more baseball. Obviously a long trip from the Northeast and the Pacific Northwest. A few Washington fans and a few Connecticut fans that are here. Here's the 3-0 to Braden Ward. It's a strike. Now full count to Braden Ward. He's hitting .304 on the year with no home runs, 13 driven in. How about fighting back from 3-0 to get a strikeout? Jeff Kirsten records his first strikeout of the game.
Nice job by Kirsten. 3-0, come back, get a strikeout. This ball in. Just tied him up. I mean, you can just kind of feel the momentum, feel everything right now, kind of swinging UConn's way. I know it's early in the game, but they're just kind of riding that wave that they were on that first game, and so far it's continued.
A little historical perspective here. UConn has advanced to a super regional since the tournament's gone to this format back in 1999, just one time. It's 2011 season. They were playing in the Clemson, South Carolina Regional. Lost their opening round game to Coastal Carolina, and then fought all the way back through the losers bracket and made it to a super regional. Tim Penders told me that yesterday, before yesterday's ball game, he relayed that story to his team just so they would know. He said, now, it's not pretend it's not hard to do. There's a lot of hard work to be done between now and then, but it can be done, and we've done it. Strike to Nick Kale. Misses, and Kale earns the walk.
It's a good pitch right there. Being a sinker ball guy, Kirsten's going to want to get that pitch today, and Darrell Arnold so far hadn't really given a lot of low strikes. It's a good pitch. Heck of a time to walk somebody with this guy striking the plate.
Joe Wainhouse. He is a pitcher and an infielder. He's thrown twice this year. Wainhouse originally from Kent, Washington. Takes a big cut there. Comes up empty for strike one.
Be careful right there. That's his pitch. That ball down, out over the plate. He can hit a long way.
Wayne now sitting 305 on the year. He's got a bunch of strikeouts. He struck out 64 times. You would expect that with a power hitter. He waves at that one and is behind in the count 0-2. Not like Wayne House has been tearing it up at the plate. Just when he does, it's impressive. He's 2 for 9 in the regional. That one's off the shortstop's glove, who's fielded up the middle. That's the first non-home run hit of the regional for Wayne House.
Had to shift the way around, and they had Prado up the middle. He almost ends up making this play. The ball's hit on the first base side of second base, and you see Prado diving for it. Almost made it. Had to shift on, just didn't quite have him shifted far enough over.
Levi Jordan takes a strike. Levi Jordan has been impressive this weekend. He's been a second baseman for the last 4 years because of the injuries that Washington has dealt with this season. They moved him over to shortstop. He's played really well there. He's got 5 hits in 9 at-bats in regional play. 3 of those 5 hits doubles. He chops this one left side. That one eats up Prado at short, and now Washington is on the board. Cale comes around to score. Wayne House stops at second. It's an RBI single for Levi Jordan. He's now hitting a smooth 600 in the Conway Regional.
Well, this is going to sound crazy to say. That ground ball got in the sun, and you watch Prado, you can kind of see it right there. He just, it's a tough play, but he kind of lost sight of it just enough to not be in a really good position. Either way, it's a tough play. A lot of top spin on that ball, and that ball's going to kick and hit. Tell you what, this is a really tough sun field.
I'm going to have to correct myself. I was giving him a hit on that play, but they actually gave Prado an error. So still just 5 hits. Here's a chopper on the right side, fielded by Woodworth. Flips over to the bag of Winkle, and that ends the inning. Washington gets on the board. We're through 1. It's 3-1 UConn. Conway Regional is paired up with the Stanford Regional, and Stanford and Cal State Fullerton will play. It's a finals game for Cal State Fullerton. Stanford will have to beat the Titans twice to stay alive. Stanford advanced in the elimination game earlier today with a 4-2 win over Baylor, who was the 2 seed. Baylor out of the Big 12 eliminated. They won the Big 12 tournament and were one of the hottest teams in the country coming into regional play. They'd won 18 of their last 20. Here's Christian Fedko.
Third baseman number 20, Connor Moriarty.
9-hole hitter Connor Moriarty now comes to the plate. Moriarty a couple of hits in the regional, 2 hits in 11 at-bats. He's driven in 1 run. Third baseman hammers this one foul. Wide of the third base bag. Tell how hard that was hit. It rolled all the way out to the left fielder Cirillo off that angled wall.
Jay Hardy's seeing how fast to get the ball back in the dugout. Being a reliever, I'm sure there's some competition going on.
0-2. Better start in this second inning for Jordan Jones after getting a leadoff ground out. Check swing called, strike 3, or called on the check swing there by the home plate umpire Darrell Arnold. 2 down in the inning. That's the second strikeout for Jones.
Second strikeout. Good cutter right there. He's thrown 2 or 3 really nice cutters to begin the game. It's about as good a spot you can throw it. Start it right on the corner and take it off the plate.
Back to the top of the order, and Michael Woodworth. 1-0 count to Woodworth. Walks his first time up. Scored the first run of the game for the Huskies. Count evens at 1-1.
It's like Jones got a little more rotation in his lower half right now this inning. His command's actually a little bit better.
This ball lined back up the middle. Woodworth with his first hit. What do you mean by that, more rotation?
You watch him when he doesn't do it as much now out of the stretch, but when he goes and lifts his leg, he rotates his lower half, his hips further back. When he lifts that leg, instead of just kind of lifting it straight up, and you want that weight, when you lift that leg, you want that weight transferred to your back leg. He takes that weight, and he takes that leg and rotates it past his back leg. Really over-rotates it.
Soft toss over to first, and Woodworth gets back.
And that may be a little key for him. Sometimes pitchers will want to rush and not get to that good balanced position, and that may be a little key for him to, hey, I got to get that weight back on that backside before I can go to the plate.
High pop on the third base side. McIver, the third baseman, just out of play.
Of course, if he did it out of the stretch, he'd be about a 2-6 to the plate. So you can't do it out of the stretch.
Especially not when you're right-handed, right?
Not at all. The catcher would love you. Maybe his little key, though, to tell himself, get back on that backside. Let your arm catch up. Let's change up.
Bunch of pitches early for Jordan Jones. Through 31 pitches in the first inning. He's got 2 down here. Prado holds up. He's behind in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Anthony Prado. 0 for 1 with a fly out to center.
It's close. I think if you can keep more than 9 times out of 10, I think if that barrel is behind the hands, I think a lot of times they just will not call it. No matter where the hands of the barrel is, I think as long as they're behind those hands, they think he didn't break.
Yeah, when the wrists break forward, that's when
the barrel comes on through. That's when they'll get you a lot of times.
Ground out and a strikeout to start the inning. Single up the middle from Woodworth. Prado trying to keep the inning alive for UConn. They lead 3-1. Woodworth, perfect 13 out of 13 on the year in stolen bases. And with 2 outs, wouldn't be surprised to see him take off. This ball laced into the corner. Long run for Cirillo. That ball gets all the way to the wall. Woodworth coming around. They're going to try to score him. He stumbles around third. The shortstop's throw to the plate is in time. Cale holds on to it, and Woodworth, maybe because of that stumble as he was coming around third, is out at the plate.
Nice shot at him and good relay to the shortstop and great throw. And I think you're right, that stumble cost him.
Michael Woodworth can really run, so you certainly understand Jim Pender's trying to send him, trying to score all the way from first on a double into the corner, but you don't anticipate the stumble coming around third.
Got a little sniper right there. Stayed on his feet, but I think it was a good move by Jim Pender, too, and a nice job by Kell giving him a deke. Good all-around baseball play. If he hadn't stumbled, it would probably been closer than that. He may have been safe, but 2 outs, I'll give him a shot.
3-1, big defensive play for Washington. Here's a 3-quarter swing for strike 1 to Willie McIver, the third baseman for the Huskies. I guess I should specify which Huskies, right?
Yeah.
We got a lot of dogs in here.
We let the dogs out.
1 and 2. Ten of the 16 sites in regional play this weekend have been affected or delayed by weather. There's a called strike 3. McIver goes away looking. Second strikeout of the game by Kirsten. Don't forget about Bases Loaded. ESPN Networks bring you every game on the road to Omaha. Got started on Friday, carrying you through Monday. You got coverage on ESPN2, ESPNU, LHN, SEC Network, and ESPN3, plus whip-around coverage, Bases Loaded coverage available on the ESPN app. Christian Jones takes strike 1. Jones 1 for 4 on the weekend with a run scored and a triple. The 1-1 to Jones. And inside for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Two now to Jones. Hope I'm not tempting fate by mentioning this, but our site, one of the ones that has been delay free, at least as a result of weather. Here, Austin, Texas, Lubbock, Texas, Corvallis, Oregon, Stanford, and Fayetteville have all to this point been without delay. It's just not fair with the West Coast. I mean, it's
not going to happen.
Not this time of year. Not very often.
Not very often. And we were lucky last night. We were about 20 minutes ahead of the storm. Pretty good storm that rolled through here.
At the end of the ball game, there was lightning in the area, but it was outside the 8-mile radius in which you pull people off the field. This ball fisted the opposite way. Prado can't get there. It'll drop in between Prado and Topa. Christian Jones has his second hit of the regional, 1-out single. He just muscled that one out.
Not a bad pitch right there by Kirsten, but got it on his hands. You're exactly right. Just Jones, a strong guy, and able to get that ball right over the shortstop's head.
Jonathan Schiffer. Schiffer batting in the 9-hole, the first baseman for Washington. He's hitting .237 on the year. Home run, 19 driven in. Schiffer scored a couple of runs, had a big RBI double in the 7th inning last night. He blasts this one through the right side of the infield. First and second with one out for Washington. The Huskies putting some pressure on as they flip back to the top of the order.
Number 6, Mason.
Swing by Schiffer. It's always good to see these guys going the other way and using the field. If you can use the entire field, you're going to be pretty successful as a hitter.
Top of the order, Mason Cirillo. Cirillo, the second highest batting average on this team for Washington, .343 this year. Boy, Washington dugout has been, since they got to the ballpark, they've been into it. It's like a bring your own energy night.
It is. What do they call them in the football? The sidelines, juice boys, bring the juice. They're bringing the juice tonight.
Ground ball to short. Prado steps on the bag himself. He'll throw over for the double play. So a couple of base runners for Washington, but a double play ends it. Cirillo's now 0 for 2. 2 innings complete. UConn 3, Washington 1. Welcome back to NCAA Regional Baseball presented by Capital One. A regional final here in Conway, South Carolina. I think those Washington fans there have got the right idea. Down the left field line, sitting on the berm in those Adirondack-style chairs under the umbrella. Little breeze over there. Although there is not much breeze at the ballpark. It is still and the air is thick tonight. Zach Susi leading off for UConn. UConn got 3 runs in the top of the first inning. Washington answered with a run in the bottom of the first. 0-2 quickly to Zach Susi. UConn team, second in the country. They had 22 true road wins this year. Susi through the right side. That's his second hit of the game. It was a smooth swing by the catcher for UConn.
Smooth swing, and the more you watch him, you realize the kid, pretty good hitter. Nice catcher, just a good solid player. He's having a very good regional. He's got a good stroke.
Went the opposite way his first time up. This time pulls it through the right side of the infield. Played in the Cape Cod League last summer where he was a Cape Cod All-Star.
So many times those guys go up there and they have a decent college year and they go up to the Cape, show out up there, and the next thing you know, they get a little confidence, come back and have a really big year next year for their school.
Isaac Feldstein at the plate for Susi. He's been on base his last 4 times, going to his last 2 at-bats against Coastal Carolina, carrying over into this game. This one's fouled back. Feldstein behind in the count 0-2. He walked his first time up.
Look how big that, of course, you never know what to anybody. Woodward's getting thrown out the plate, looks now. Susi single would probably scored 1, possibly 2.
Hadn't thought about that as far as carrying a leadoff hit in the next inning over.
Yeah. And of course you think, well, they may have probably pitched him differently, obviously, but
he's seeing it well right now.
He sure is.
No balls, 2 strikes. You know, the other interesting thing about the Cape Cod League, you hear everybody talk about how it's the best summer baseball anywhere. But it's not just you play well in college and so they invite you to the Cape Cod. That's an area where scouts congregate in the summer, and there's a pro ball influence as to who gets invited to that because they're players that scouts want to see in a wood bat setting. This ball's crushed and left by Feldstein. First and second, nobody out for UConn here in the top of the third.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They want to see those guys with wood bat in their hand and see what kind of adjustments they make. And I think these two guys right now, Feldstein and Susie, could hit with a toothpick because they're seeing the ball well. Maybe not a toothpick, maybe a broom handle.
I think the carryover from swinging it well in the earlier game
absolutely
matters for UConn.
Yep, absolutely. You know, it's contagious. It's hitting is so much between your ears, and it's confidence. And these guys are swinging it well. They're confident right now. And Kirkston's doing a good job. He's getting them back into the dugout. They're a confident group. They're a dangerous group right now.
First pitch strike to Stefanski. He hit an RBI single his first time up. UConn's gotten 4 straight hits at the plate. 2 to finish the second inning. They had Woodworth thrown out to end the inning. And then 2 singles to start here in the third.
Looks like he's getting ready to square around the bunt, and probably gave him 1 shot. And he's going to bunt. And this is something that we really honestly haven't seen the team do a good job at all weekend is the sacrifice bunt, getting these guys over, and it's costing the team some runs. Got to give yourself up.
Washington in at first and third. Stefanski bunts at third base side, and that ball will kick foul. Got grass on the infield, but then just along the line. In fact, the line is actually turf. And so the surface changes right there. If you're going to bunt and keep it fair, you're going to have to get it out in that grass infield.
Yep, you're exactly right. You got to get in that grass. And I don't know if it's the area in front of the plate has got a lot of kick to it. Obviously, because we've seen a lot of balls hit that front of the plate lip. No, it's not lip, but it's just the area in front of the plate and kick all the way out into the outfield. I don't know if it's that or what, but all the teams really have struggled when it comes to sacrifice bunting this weekend.
I mean, you're standing on a rubber surface there at home plate. Here's a chopper on the right side. That scoots through the 4-hole. Graffinino was played up the middle. UConn will have the bases loaded, nobody out here in the top of the third. That's the 8th hit of this game for the UConn Huskies.
The 8th hit and probably about the 5th hit 0-2 of this regional. Another 0-2 pitch, way too much of the plate. Stefanski was doing a good job just trying to hook something in that 4-hole, and he did. 8 hits, but only 3 runs. They need a big hit here to kind of start breaking this thing open a little bit.
John Topa singled his first time up. In regional play, UConn with the bases loaded, 3 for 3 with 5 RBI. This isn't going to be a base hit, but it will be a sacrifice fly for Topa. And just barely safe at first. That was almost terrible base running by Stefanski. Susie comes home to score. It's now 4-1. Feldstein goes to third.
Could have been a disaster right there. And if Schiffer had been a little earlier realizing that, he would have had him. He was getting prepared, obviously, to throw the ball home. He didn't. No way think he would have a runner halfway off the bag.
So Topa's got 3 RBIs here in the early going. It's a 3-run lead for UConn, and Chris Winkle's at the plate with runners at the corners and 1 down. Winkle trying to drop down a bunt. He fouled it off. You're right, this has not been a bunting clinic weekend in Conway.
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. And I like first and third. To me, is a great time to drag. You make that third baseman field it. He's coming in to field the ball, and all you're doing as a runner at third, you're just kind of trailing that third baseman. And as soon as he releases it, you coming home. There's really no way to to defend it. The only way you can really defend it, the pitcher's got to get back over there to third. It's just tough to defend.
First base side, late getting over. The second baseman, Graffinino, can't hang on to it. Everybody's safe, and a run scores.
Safety squeeze right there for Winkle. We talked about it earlier when he was hitting, possibly bunting. And it's a pretty good bunt here. Made that first baseman fielding. Graffinino was just a little late getting over, and he tried to flip it. Graffinino was trying to catch the ball, find the bag all at the same time. It's usually a recipe for disaster. He couldn't hold on to it.
Would have been a sacrifice for Winkle. Instead, he's credited with a hit. Picks up an RBI. And now Christian Fedko. Fedko grounded out to third his first time up. First career home run earlier today turned out to be the game winner against Coastal Carolina, eliminating the Chanticleers. He pops this one foul. First base side, and it'll just scoot over the wall. Schiffer couldn't quite get there.
Couldn't quite get there, and he a little hesitant trying to find that fence. If he got all the way over there and found the fence, he might have been able to reach over and make the play. It'd have been a tough play, but he ran out of real estate before he had to. He had a little more room than he thought he did.
Fedko now behind in the count 1-2. Nobody in the bullpen for Washington. Jordan Jones pitching with one out. Stefanski at second, Winkle at first. And a 5-1 lead for UConn. There's a strikeout. He gets Fedko chasing one off the plate, second out of the inning.
Nice pitch by Jones. Fastball. Tough guy to strike out in that position. Fedko's a pretty good player when he gets guys out there in scoring position, as we've seen most of this regional.
Jordan Jones has got 3 strikeouts, but he has allowed 5 runs in this game. This one's popped up, first base side, foul territory, and it will get out of play. All 5 runs off of Jordan Jones are earned. A win for UConn forces a game tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern here in Conway. 2-2. Ground ball down the third base line. That's a fair ball. Stefanski will come around and score. Chris Winkle gets to third. He'll stop there. It's an RBI double for Connor Moriarty. Goodness. The UConn Huskies are swinging at 6 runs on 10 hits. We're not through 3 at-bats yet.
Not at all. Moriarty, we saw the inning of the game before this. He had started swinging the bat pretty well. He had that big double, and he's kind of carried over too, as all these UConn Huskies have. And just now,
Washington coming to the plate in the bottom of the third inning. It's UConn leading 6-1. Regional finals game. Jim Penders joins us, the head coach of the UConn Huskies, as Washington begins this at bat. And Coach, I feel like we got to go back to the previous game. What an incredible game. Your guys kind of back and forth. A huge hit from Fedko at the end that gets you into this game.
Yeah, really big. I mean, Anthony Prado hitting his second one of the year, and Christian Fedko picked a great time to hit his first of the year. He ran the bases like he's hit 40, but it was good to see. He picked a great time for it.
And then carrying over, I asked Jay earlier, about momentum carrying from one game to the next in a doubleheader setting. Is that real? Is there some momentum that carries over from that win into this game?
Well, you hope so. You don't want to wash it off. We did take showers, but we don't want to wash off that flavor. And the guys are playing loose. It's a different team than it was. You guys saw the first 12 innings we played down here, and it didn't resemble us the rest of the year. Now this looks more like us. So I was just nervous that we weren't going to see the UConn Huskies down here, and they've appeared. So hopefully they stick around for a while.
So what changed?
Great question. I wish I could bottle it, and I'd be a hell of a coach.
Jim, thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys.
That's Jim Penders. 15th season as the head coach of the UConn Huskies.
One of the good guys in college baseball and a good coach. Just a genuine dude.
Jim Penders played at UConn, graduated, thought baseball was done. Here's a full count. Headed to Washington, D.C. Worked in the political arena on the fundraising side of things for a couple of years, and got a phone call from his former head coach. Said, hey, want to come back and coach at UConn? He agreed to do it as a graduate assistant. Met his wife while he was in D.C. and said he pulled the bait and switch on her. I think she thought that they were going to be in D.C., big city life, and went back, volunteer assistant at UConn. Our graduate assistant turned into a full-time assistant, and the last 15 years, Jim Penders has been captain of the UConn baseball ship. Big chopper left side. That's an infield single for Braden Ward. And again, you see the result of that turf circle right there around home plate. Look, this ball's pounded into the dirt right in front of home plate.
Yep, you're exactly right. There's been so many hits due to that. And I mean, it is what it is. Coastal Carolina is a very, very offensive dominant team. That's the way they win games. And this field's set up that way. Get a lot of hops off that. When the second hop off that turf is that far out, it's an offensive ballpark. Probably had no shot the way Ward runs. He can get it down the line.
Probably more northern teams than teams from the south, although you're seeing it in more and more places play on all turf fields. This one is grass in the outfield and the infield, but the foul territory, the warning track kind of down toward the right field and left field corners is all turf.
Yeah, I like it.
And it's filled with rubber.
Yep.
I mean, it's a maintenance issue. I mean, that's the reason teams do it.
Yep. Look at the batter's boxes. They'll just zip out. Basically, you put a new batter's box in quickly. Catcher's box. But it saves you. I mean, it saves you games, saves you practice time.
Here's Nick Cale. 1-1 to Cale. He walked and scored the only run for Washington. Two and one. Nick Cale, the only player on this Washington team that has started every game this year. 2-2 now to Cale. He's got 4 home runs, now 5 home runs on the year. And all 5 of them have come since May 12th, so he has heated up down the stretch. And he He's hit in the shoulder here. Kale will shake it off, jog down to first. He's been on base twice.
Well, if you hit in front of Wayne House, that's what you got to do. Stinks to get hit, but he does a nice job. Rolls that front shoulder, tucks the chin, protects himself. Nice job. Get on base any way you can, because you got a guy coming up now that obviously can hit the ball out the park.
It can certainly make this game feel different if Joe Wainhouse catches one. He got his first non-home run base hit earlier in the game today. Kind of singled up the middle. UConn has the shift on, although not as dramatic as some. Prado, the shortstop, played just behind the second base bag a step or two. Wainhouse hits a fly ball to left. Stefanski and Topa both on the run, and the park's not going to hold it. Third home run of the regional for Joe Wainhouse, and it's now 6-4.
Well, you know with him, it's going to be a matter of time. They've tried to pitch him up in the strike zone. That's the way they've tried to get him out. That's a great strategy if you get it in, but when it's up, out over the plate, this is what he does to him. Great lift, great extension. One of Conway's finest ends up with the ball.
Kicks around out onto the boardwalk. 3 more RBIs for Wainhouse. He's now got 56 on the year. That's his 17th home run. He's in some kind of a zone. Josh McDonald out to talk with Kirsten.
Animated conversation. You see Josh McDonald, he has a lot of those conversations on the mound with his guys. High tempo guy.
Home runs in 11 of the last 15 games for Joe Wainhouse.
It's a pretty good little streak there.
No question.
He's getting hot at the right time. You talk about how hot he was the whole month of May, and along with Nick Kell, they just kind of carried this group and got them going, and they got healthy, and now they're playing pretty well at the right time.
So since May 1st, 11 home runs. Kind of finishing up regular season play. Joe Wainhouse hit .256 with 8 home runs and 22 runs batted in. That was in the month of May. His regional started on June 1st. Levi Jordan fouls it away. Two strikes on Jordan. Still nobody out in the inning. Single, infield single, hit batter, and a 3-run home run for Joe Wainhouse. Has gotten Washington back within 2. And now a 2-2 count to Levi Jordan. Ground ball up the middle. Prado ranges over, and his throw's offline. And then it goes into the dugout, and so second base awarded to Levi Jordan. One of the things with Prado, he's really good defensively, but rarely sets his feet.
Rarely sets his feet. And this play here is pretty much bang-bang play. See Washington's love it. I feel that momentum starting to swing a little bit. Tough play by Prado. It took him up the middle, and all he could do was kind of try to square his feet and shoulders as much as he could. He just couldn't quite get it there.
Infield single for Jordan, gets to second on the throwing error by Prado. That's the first error of the game for either team. 6-4 ball game. Here's A.J. Graffinino.
But a guy's been hot in regional.
He's hitting .349 for the year, and he grounds it to Winkle at first. That moves Jordan over to third base. Raffanino is the first out of the inning.
Third baseman number 9, Willie McIver.
Love a base hit, but that is a productive out.
Absolutely it is. And we've seen that a couple times from Raffanino.
A lot of ways to score a run with guy third and just one out in the inning. Kiver struck out his first time. Do you like just playing this straight up where you're looking for a fly ball or a ground ball on the right side to get the run home, or do you prefer like a safety squeeze type scenario?
I like to give my players the benefit of the doubt. It depends on the player situation, but
that'll do it. Base hit through the left side. And it's now a one-run game, 6-5, as Levi Jordan comes home to score. RBI single for McIver.
You know, you think you put your work in during the practice, put your work in the offseason, you get in these situations, you trust your guys to get the job done. McIver did that. Especially early in the game, playing for big innings. You just get the sense, too, it's going to take a lot of runs possibly to win this game, as we're 6-5 and we're not even through 3 innings yet.
We have seen the big innings. UConn with 3 in the first, 3 in the fourth. Washington got 1 in the first. They put 4 on the board here in the third. It's 6-5 as Christian Jones takes strike 1. One to Jones. Christian Jones was an all-league player in basketball and baseball as a senior in high school. Federal Way High School in Washington. He's behind in the count here, 1-2. Drafted by the Boston Red Sox in 2016. Coming out of high school, named the Gatorade Player of the Year. He was the Seattle Times Star Athlete, the Tacoma News Tribune Male Athlete of the Year. Obviously, folks in the Seattle area thought very highly of Christian Jones coming out of high school.
Nice job, too, by Lindsey Meggs, keeping him in-house, keeping him at Washington, because there was a lot of groups, a lot of schools wanting him. That's the one thing, if you're Washington, you got to keep those in-state guys there. You can't let Stanford, you can't let some of these California schools come in and get you good ones.
Jones goes the opposite way, and he didn't get a whole lot on it, but hit it in just the right spot. Hit a little cut through the left side of the infield.
Well, that's 2 in a row. The last one was kind of a fifth job out to left field. This one here was the same thing. This one had a little more slice on it and actually helped it. You can see it, just enough slice. Hey, that's 2 line drives to left in the book.
Whatever works, right?
Yeah, now you're getting in a situation for UConn. You really need Jeff Kirsten to get you into that 5th, 6th inning to possibly somewhat match up. There's just not a lot of options right now in the UConn pen, especially from a long relieving standpoint.
For more coverage of the Division I baseball tournament and interactive brackets, go to ncaa.com. Lindsey Meggs came out of the dugout there. I wonder if he was maybe asking Darrell Arnold if UConn had to make a change there.
Possibly so, or wanting to know if he could, you know, a lot of times if it's a defensive timeout, then he can talk to his players. But I think sometimes it only has to be when the coach is present on the field from the defensive standpoint. I There's no coach on the field, so obviously they don't have to make a change.
Yeah, there's been a meeting on the mound this half inning, right, with Josh McDonald, pitching coach, going out to talk to Jeff Kirsten. He delivers a strike to Schiffer.
And there is nobody getting loose in that pen. This is Kirsten's for a while.
Limited options at this point for UConn. Still just one out in the inning. McIver out at second base, Jones at first. Chopper left side. That's off the glove of Prado. McIver will slam on the brakes. He made a big turn. You know, and Washington really is taking advantage of this playing surface, pounding it into the dirt. That's another infield single.
Yeah, sometimes you just have bad luck, and right now that's what's going on for UConn. They've obviously given up some pretty hard hit balls this inning with Wayne House's home run, but not much you can do with Christian Jones and Jonathan Schiffer's hits. I mean, they're just infield singles that just replaced in the perfect position. Got to do whatever you can, try to get out of this for UConn, because this game cannot get out of hand.
Mason Cirillo to the plate. Ninth hitter of the inning, and he takes a first pitch strike. The only out was a ground out by Graffinito. This inning has been single, hit batter, home run, single, ground out, single, single, single. UConn and Washington through not quite 3 innings. Third inning's not over yet. Have combined for 11 runs and 20 hits.
Got a little offense tonight. An hour and a half. And we're not even through 3.
This has been, to this point, a 33-minute third inning. Pitch on the inside corner. UConn really wanted a called strike there. As did Jeff Kirsten. You see him just kind of shake his head. McIver at third, Jones at second, Schiffer at first. Two pitch coming now to Cirillo. UConn had Mason Fioli throw on Friday. P.J. Poulin started earlier today. Tim Cate in relief yesterday. Gardner was a starter, but he threw nearly 60 pitches. See the other guys, they have to have some relief guys step up and just figure out a way to muscle through it. High fly ball to right. Feldstein and Stefanski both going back. It's Feldstein at the warning track making the catch. That's good enough for a sacrifice fly for Mason Cirillo, and we are tied at 6.
Well, when it come off his bat, I thought we were going to have an easy fly ball to right field. Feldstein ends up catching the ball on the track, almost on the wall. You can see he's right at the base of the wall when he caught that ball.
Wow.
Ball just jumps out of this place. Pill second base here, said he's left too early.
Do not get the call.
It's one of those things I always tell people, if you think so, try it and see. You never know. It's not going to hurt anything to give it a shot.
Let's go, baby. 6-6, 12 runs, 20 hits between UConn and Washington. And here's a fly ball to left. Topa and Stefanski. It's the center fielder, Stefanski. Makes the catch in the gap, and that ends the inning. 5 runs across. Joe Wainhouse at it again. A 3-run bomb. UConn has been good with runners on base, 8 for 12 in this game. A combined 8 runs on 11 hits in the third inning. UConn had 3 in the top half. Washington 5 in the bottom half. And the Paul Bunyan / Joe Wainhouse show continues. He's 2 for 2 with a single and a home run. 3-run home run. We are tied at 6 as we go to the top of the 4th.
I'm a little preoccupied over here. There's a red wasp the size of a bald eagle flying around our heads.
If you leave it alone, it'll leave you alone.
Okay. If you see me underneath the table, you'll know why.
Anthony Prado. 2 balls to start the inning. And immediately, Cale goes out to talk to Gordon Jones.
Need a shutdown in here if you're Washington. Your offense just came alive, tied the game up for you. Get them back in the dugout. Got UConn on the ropes. Don't give them a breath.
Fly ball to the left side, and it'll go out of play.
Good day for foul balls.
You get a ball, you get a ball, you get a ball.
Yep.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Anthony Prado. And it gets inside and it hits him. That does not feel good. That's a leadoff base runner. And I mean, what's the number? Jay, what's the number that it's going to take to win this game? Because you think about the pitching for both teams. They're both thin. Both offenses are hot. They've shown that over the last couple of games. How many is it going to take to win?
I'm going to say that I don't know how many it's going to take to win, but I think you're going to have north of 22 runs scored combined. I think it's going to be a 14-12 type of game, if not more. It's going to be survival, you know, and normally in these type of games, the home team has the advantage, but you're looking at one of those 14-12 games.
To pop up to right. Jones gets underneath it and makes the catch, 1 away.
Yeah, and you watch when Prado hit that foul ball, it almost made the comment. I mean, these guys were taking some hacks. I mean, they're not trying to. I mean, they're getting a fastball in the middle of the plate. They're trying to hammer it. They've done a good job once they get in certain counts of hitting the ball all around the park. If they get a pitch to drive, they're not. They're coming out of their shoes swinging for sure.
Popped up again, this time on the infield. Feldstein got underneath it, and Jordan grabs it. 2 down.
Center fielder number 3, Troy Stefanski.
Troy Stefanski has had a good game. RBI single. Back in the first inning, singled and scored in the third inning. Prado hit to start the inning, back-to-back fly ball outs. And now Stefanski trying to keep it alive as Washington's trying to put a 0 on the board. Stefanski hammers it foul.
Last two pitches, really nice cutters by Jordan Jones. Just ran it underneath his hand. Dylan Lamb now up tossing in Washington bullpen. Lindsey Meggs really wants obviously to win this game, just from a standpoint of being able to finish this thing off. But he knows you get that last game, it kind of turns to the underdog, and right now it's UConn. If you go through that loser's bracket and you make it to that final game 7 of the regional, it's a lot of pressure on that team that's come out of the winner's bracket. Having 2 shots to win this thing, you don't want to be the one that don't win it after 2 shots.
Ground ball up the middle, just in the right spot. Prado will go first to third as Stefanski's 3 for 3.
Too good a pitch for 2 strikes. Threw him 2 really good cutters underneath his hands. Foul ball. And he comes back with a changeup that just kind of sets out over the middle of the plate. Stefanski's out in front of it, a little bit of a front foot hitter. It just gets enough barrel on it to chop it up the middle. And I know people are getting tired of hearing it, but that first hop, when it ends up way back in the back part of the infield, it's usually going to be a hit.
It's like both of these teams have realized it and figured out how to take advantage of the playing surface. John Topa batting with 2 outs, runners at the corners. 6-6 game. And Topa pops it up. Right side. Schiffer. And that ends the inning. We'll talk with Jason Kelly. How do you handle a game like this as a pitching coach when we come back? 6-6, UConn and Washington tied as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Jason Kelly joins us. He's the pitching coach for the Washington Huskies. And Coach, I'm sure there's some days where it's a lot of fun to be a pitching coach, and then there's some days where, can I work with the hitters a little bit? What's this game like?
Well, it makes it a little bit better to know that you win a ball game, you got a chance to go to the Super Regional. So you just got to grind through this. And, we didn't know it was going to be this way, but, you get a team that's coming off a momentum win, that they're going to come out ready to go, and our offense has gotten us back in the game. So now we need to get ourselves going on the mound and hold them there. You went out earlier in the game and talked to Jordan Jones. What did you say to him? I just wanted to calm him and kind of get him to take a deep breath and realize what a great place and what a great opportunity, and let's get in the zone, and let's, if we're going to get beat, let's get beat, kind of jamming it in there, and it's easier said than done, obviously, for those of you that have been on the mound. I got to ask you about the guy standing there in the on-deck circle, Joe Wainhouse, and the zone that he's in right now. What has come over him in the last 6 weeks? Man, it's been unbelievable, and his at-bats are funny because he'll have an at-bat where he looks like he's just not even close, and you think you can do something in particular to him, and then you do it to him the next time he hits over the batter's eye. So he's just feeling good. He's kind of bouncing around with his approach on what he's trying to do. He's not letting anybody do multiple things to him. He's taking some things away, and when he gets what he's looking for, he's got a good chance to hit a homer.
Quick question, Jason. If you guys noticed, we talked about it in the booth, is that ball that hits right in front of the plate, it seems like the second hop is way out in the infield. And is that just part of this, you think, being an offensive part?
Yeah, I think it is. It's kind of, that turf is hard, and it kind of reminds me of the old AstroTurf back in the day where that first hop is real big, and then that second hop kind of has overspin on it, so It's hard to pick. So it's a little bit different going from the turf to the grass. Our turf is different at our place, so it's a little bit softer. But, yeah, you've seen that come into play a couple times today.
Jason, last thing. Is there a nickname for Joe Wainhouse?
Oh, man, there's 1,000 of them. Obviously the last name's House, and he's as big as a house, so a lot of people call him House and Sasquatch. And, anything these yahoos in this dugout can think of, which is pretty creative at times.
I would like to submit Paul Bunyan as one that might work as well.
I heard you guys say that on the earlier broadcast, and like you said, that's a compliment.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Jason, good talking to you.
All right, guys, thank you.
That's Jason Kelly, pitching coach for the Washington Huskies. This one hit sharply by Nick Cale. Throw from third is high, and he's safe. Head first slide by Nick Cale. He gets in safely. All right, we talked yesterday about sliding into first base. Is that the right time to do it?
That's when you do it. So everybody watch that. This is the only time you slide into first base head first. Hard shot. Throw takes the first base and up the line. When he sees those feet come off the bag, Cale hits the dirt and he slides to the outside part of the bag in foul territory. That is the only time that you slide to first base. Good base running by Nick Cale. Heck of a play by Winkle. Almost had it, but it was just too high. Just too high from him. It's high.
Saw that elbow drop from Moriarty, and the throw just sailed on him. Fairly remarkable that Winkle was able to get that ball. He went way up in the air to get it.
I thought when it come out of his hands, I was looking down there at the camera well. I was thinking it's going up the camera well. I was surprised he was even able to get a glove on it, much less make the play and almost get the out.
The aforementioned Joe Wainhouse.
I like Sasquatch. Northwest guy.
Swing and a miss. They got him down in the zone there.
Back-to-back changeups right there. Kirsten. Two good ones, two good arm speed. And I've noticed that about Wainhouse. He just, I mean, there'll be cuts and he looks like he's the worst hitter in the world. Next thing you know, he hits one off the scoreboard.
It's been kind of a winding road for Joe Wainhouse. He's from Kent, Washington, Kentridge High School. Was at Ole Miss for a year, transferred to Bellevue Community College, and now with the Huskies, and he pounds this one foul. Six game. No balls, 2 strikes to Wainhouse with the runner on at first base. One and two now to Joe Wainhouse. Bounced one through the middle in the first inning for an infield single. They got into the outfield, and then a 3-run home run in the third. Wainhouse lays off that one. He's got 6 runs batted in the regional. Washington's Jordan Jones was able to put a 0 on the board in the top of the 4th inning. Jeff Kirsten trying to match that here in the bottom. That's a good start. He gets a swinging strikeout of Wainhouse. He just had trouble identifying that pitch and that at bat.
Yep, and here's the thing about Wainhouse. The next at bat, he's liable to hit that ball off the scoreboard. But you're right. He threw a change up, showed him one fastball off the plate, and then came back with that breaking ball in the dirt and got him to chase. He's like a lot of big power hitters. I mean, he's going to strike out his fair share.
3 strikeouts for Jeff Kirsten. First sign of movement down in the UConn bullpen. There's a right-hander throwing. Washington has had guys down in the pen for the last couple of innings. It's Colby Dunlop, who threw earlier this weekend in the regional. Levi Jordan. Jordan's been on base twice. He singled in the first, singled in the third, and scored a run. Up. Prado was calling for it, but the center fielder Stefanski runs a long way, makes the catch coming forward.
Obviously, the center fielders got priority over the infielders, but when your shortstop Prado is basically camped out under, you let him go ahead and take it. That's It's a lot easier play for him. They both handled it the right way. He caught him, he backed out, and let him make the play.
2 out in the inning. You got a former teammate that I've worked with on television a bunch, David DeLucci, who would disagree with you on that.
Well, that's
if DeLucci thought he could get to it, he was calling everybody off. And if you ask him, well, if I can get to it, it's my ball.
David couldn't run. He couldn't get near any of them balls anyway. No, you're exact. He's right. Now, I agree with David 100% on that. That's his ball if he can get to it. But you've seen a lot of times where that center fielder calls it too early, and he ends up running in there and having to make a shoestring catch.
Graffinino lines one to left field. 2 down in the inning, but a couple of base runners now for Washington.
And obviously David's a good buddy of mine, and I say that jokingly. Pretty good hitter, too.
He can swing
He could hit a little bit. He could hit a little bit.
David DeLucci, who's worked with the SEC Network this year.
Great teammate and a better guy off the field. He's a super person.
Cale at second, Graffinino at first. That was first hit of the game for Graffinino, and the 11th for Washington.
On 9. That's up 1.
So, as much as this is hard from a pitching standpoint, don't you think that from a hitter standpoint, you just are chomping at the bit to get back to the plate,
Absolutely.
to get your turn to swing it?
Look, both teams know. They know that they're running on empty from a pitching standpoint. From a hitting standpoint, you're right. They're having a fight at the bat rack. One thing you got to guard against for both teams, like that pitch there, hanging breaking ball up in the zone and just overswung just a little bit. Got to try to just fight yourself, stay within yourself, take good swings, and the home runs will come. They're getting a lot of pitches center of the plate right now to hit for both teams.
Willie McIver's 1 for 2. He's driven in a run and scored a run. He takes a strike 1 and 2.
If UConn's going to get this game to tomorrow, somebody that you don't expect is going to have to step up on that mound and do something special. Whether it be Kirsten or Dunlop, or somebody's going to have to do something special to get you to game 7 tomorrow in this regional.
One ball, 2 strikes. This ball's lifted to right. It's pretty well hit. Feldstein gets to the edge of the warning track and makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. How about that? UConn goes scoreless in the top of the inning. Washington goes scoreless in the bottom half. NCAA Regional Baseball is presented by Capital One. Conway, South Carolina. Beautiful Sunday night. Sun setting off beyond the stadium, to which the outfielders here say thank you. Warm and muggy early summer night, although I guess we're not officially to summer yet. Certainly feels like it. Chris Winkle leading off for UConn, top of the 5th inning.
Every time you say Chris Winkle, of course, it makes me think of Chris Winky. Remember him?
I do.
Florida State quarterback, played baseball, the 1st-round pick, I believe, in baseball with the Blue Jays.
Nothing like one of those guys that's so athletic that they can be a 1st-round pick out of high school, give baseball a whirl, realize this may not be the right spot, and then go win a Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, he was something. He was a super athlete.
6-6, UConn and Washington. Pitch just off the plate, 2-1. They're dealing with weather issues tonight in Gainesville. And also in Greenville, North Carolina. Baseball hit off the end of the bat to the right side. Graffinino scoops it up. One away. About that, got Dad in the stands. Tony Graffinino, former big league infielder.
DH number 7.
Faced him a few times. Good ball player, man. Just very versatile player. Another one of those guys, bounced around a little bit. Good teammate.
It's amazing when you start talking to guys that play in the big leagues. You know, there are some players who get drafted by a team and stay with it their entire career, maybe get traded once, but you look at guys that had long, successful careers, and I know you fall into this category, Jay. This one's well hit. Fedco got a deep shot to deep left center. Ward's able to run it down. But most guys bounce around some.
Yep, they bounce around, and it's just the nature of the game, especially, you know, guys like myself and Tony and even David, you know, we're you know, you kind of have a short shelf life at every team, and that's a good thing. You're a valuable commodity, you know, but you can be replaced too. And I always thought it meant a lot to me to be a good teammate, and that gets around the league. And if that's the case, a lot of times you can find a job. And the same thing with Tony and you know, David DeLucci and those type of guys. Todd Walker, just good folks, good teammates, and you'll have a job as long as you can still put on that uniform.
Ball and a strike to Moriarty. He's got a double, has driven in a run. Moriarty late on that swing, 1-2.
If you get to a point, you know, if you're not a superstar and you start making a little bit of money and you can be replaced by a younger guy they think can do the same thing or hopefully close to what you're doing, and you go to somewhere else. That's just kind of the nature of the business.
You may be getting paychecks from multiple teams. The team that you were with, and the team that you go to. And just let your accountant work that out.
That's exactly right. I never had that happen. I always was just a one-team guy, but I know folks that did.
Foul tip held on to. It's a 1-2-3 inning. Moriarty goes down swinging. Jones has found a little something. This is what we're playing for Super Regional next weekend. The winner of the Stanford Regional, the winner of this Conway Regional. Washington in the driver's seat here. Cal State Fullerton in the driver's seat out in Stanford. I wouldn't count the Cardinal out just yet. Remember, Washington took 2 of 3 from Stanford in the final weekend of the regular season of the Pac-12. Playing at Sunken Diamond at Stanford. Ball to center. Christian Jones flies out, first out of the inning. Easy play there for Stefanski.
First baseman number 3, Jonathan Schiffer.
Jonathan Schiffer batting in the 9 hole, hitting only .237 coming into this game, but he's 2 for 2. Breaking ball, strike 1. All right, so how do you explain this? Game's out of control. After 3 innings, it's 6-6 with a combined 20 hits. And then the pitchers seem to find something and get a little rhythm going.
Kind of like Jim Penders, if I could explain that, would all be a rich man, win a lot of ball games. But, you know, a lot of it has to do with rhythm, like you just said. And, you know, it's kind of to me, it's kind of a good analogy. It's kind of like a heavyweight fight. You know, you trade blows early, and then you kind of get in that rhythm, and you start really kind of boxing. I guess. So same thing here. You kind of get in the rhythm, you start pitching, you figure out what works for you, what's not working. A lot of times, a starting pitcher, you know, you watch Tom Glavine for years with the Braves, and he was one of the guys that first inning was just so hard to get past. But if you can get past those first couple, you usually can settle into a rhythm.
Gopher stays alive. It's 1-2.
That or the hitters are just tired because they're gotten 20 hits in 2 1/3. One of the two is the case. That's what I always counted on. Maybe the hitters wore out by the time I got in there.
Both teams with 6 runs, both teams with 11 hits. This ball lined to right. Feldstein makes the catch, and they're 2 down. A couple of flyouts.
And this is the 6th game that we've done here. How many times have we, or have you said, outfielder goes back on the ball, or we've seen a guy go back in an outfield? I mean, it's just every ball, it seems like just routine fly ball, looks like ends up at the track. I mean, it's almost like today is, and we've seen a lot of home runs all across college baseball today, but it seems like today the ball's jumping better than any day here.
Well, plus we watched Joe Wainhouse this weekend.
That's true.
It's had something to do with it.
Wainhouse and those big boppers from Coastal Carolina.
That coach says, don't forget about me. What was it Jim Pender said earlier? He said he hits his first career home run. He runs around the bases like it was his 40th.
Bat flips it, pumps a fist. Of course, if you hit one in that moment, I don't, you know, if I'm a pitcher and you hit one to win the game, go ahead and bat flip it.
Here's a shot up the middle for Cirillo, his first hit. 2-out single for Mason Cirillo.
Center fielder number 7, Braden Ward.
Braden Ward, the 2-hole hitter. 1 for 3. All and no strikes. Strikeout single, run scored in the 3rd. And then Ward made the final out of the 3rd inning. This ball lined to center. Stefanski makes the catch. That is the 100th pitch of the game by Jeff Kirsten. So both pitchers get through 5. We're tied at 6. These two teams have combined to go 9 for 18 with runners in scoring position. Jordan Jones back on the mound in the top of the 6th for the Washington Huskies. In the first 3 innings, UConn and Washington combined for 12 runs and 20 hits. Last 2 innings, it's been a little bit different. Some zeros on the board, no runs, and a combined 3 hits. I'm not sure that we're done entirely with the offense in this game, but it's been impressive to see the pitchers kind of bear down and be able to record some outs.
Handled some adversity early, and they went through it. Last couple of innings, they've settled down and done pretty well. And I think both coaching staffs, if you had told them, look, we're going to go in the 6th inning, it's going to be tied, and you're going to have your starting pitcher still in the game, I think both of them would probably take that. Getting in that last 3 to 4 innings of the game with a chance to win it.
Strike to Woodworth, top of the order for UConn here in the top of the 6th.
Jordan Jones, the interesting thing about him, it's like Coach Kelly pointed out, his velocity's actually dropped some since the start of the game, but he's pitched more effectively.
This ball lined to right, coming in, Jones makes the catch. Woodworth hit that solidly, but it's handled well by Christian Jones out in right.
Shortstop number 1, Anthony Prado.
Prado comes to the plate. 1 for 2. Had a fly out, doubled, hit by a pitch. Stetson down in DeLand. They were the number 11 seed in this tournament. Looks like they are on their way to winning the DeLand Regional, up 8-0 over Oklahoma State. High fly ball to left. Cirillo on the run. He gets to the warning track, circles though, and makes the catch just short of the wall. Long fly ball out that time for Prado.
Saw him hit one game before this one. He just missed that one, got under it just enough. Cirillo did a nice job finding that wall, making the play.
There is no wind help in the ballpark. Cirillo played that well. Strike inside to Zach Susi. 2 for 3. That's it as far as wind goes. Fouled off the foot of Susi, and that hurts.
That hurt bad. Looked like he got him right on that instep, maybe.
Susi waves off the trainer. Oh, wow.
If you want to know how that feels and you're at home and you're watching this game, just get a bat and hit yourself in the shin. That's about the same thing. Don't do that, obviously, but that hurts. That hurts really bad, and especially
what was your suggestion to do?
If you're
Take
at
a
home,
hammer?
well, hammer would work too, but I chose a bat. If you want to know how that feels, because that hurts kind of bad.
You ever walked into a trailer hitch on
Yes,
the back
sir.
of a truck?
Same feeling.
That's it.
That's it. You're exactly right. That is the same feeling, and Susi's still feeling it. And the big part of it is he's got to go back there and catch now.
6-6 ball game, top of the 6th. Susi fouls it away.
Now, do not hit yourself in the shin with a bat.
Auburn up on NC State. Auburn trying to go 3-0 in the Raleigh Regional and advance to a Super Regional. Auburn was a team that felt like they had a good enough resume to be hosting. That one nearly hit Susi in the foot. He danced away from it.
Well, Jordan Jones, if you can see that again, he tried to quick pitch it. And see Kel smiling a little bit. He's been having that real high leg kick that he over rotates on. With that one, he didn't hardly pick that leg up. He just kind of picked it up real quick and went straight to his delivery.
That pitch just missed Susi. Count goes full. Two down, bases empty. Jones trying to have a 1-2-3 inning. Will appeal to third again. That pitch called a ball, and so Susi, a 2-out base runner, draws the walk. Coming into this game, Jordan Jones didn't walk a bunch of guys. It's one thing he's done well this season. 14 walks in 89 innings pitched. He's got 3 walks tonight. And Jason Kelly going to go out to the mound, and you wonder if that's it. 104 pitches in the game. There's the signal to the bullpen. Washington is going to make a pitching change. I would think that Washington's got to be proud of what Jones was able to settle down and bring to the ball game. Go back to Conway after this. Freshman Stevie Emanuels comes into the game. He's out of Bellevue, Washington, 6'5", 195 pounds, pitching for the second consecutive day. Emanuels threw in last night's game 7-2 on the year with a 4.02 ERA. He's now tied for the team lead with 32 appearances this year. Drops at a breaking ball for strike one to Isaac Feldstein.
Stevie Emanuels, he's been effective. Both outings he's had here. This is one thing that Washington definitely has that advantage over UConn. They've got some fresh arms to run out of that pen. He's one of them.
Up for a ball, 1 strike. Jordan Jones, 5 2/3, 11 hits, 6 earned runs, walked 3, struck out 4. And you look at that and you go, yeah, that's not very good. And I'll give you this, it's not great. But given the way this game has flowed, for him to have gotten through 5 innings, considering how the first 3 innings in, I think pretty impressive.
I agree 100%. And, you know, all you're trying to do is, when you give up that many early, is just get yourself into that 6th inning, give your team a chance to match up. And, you know, you just think if Stevie Emanuel's had to come in the 4th inning, how different this would have been. He's done a good job. Jones did a good job.
Check swing, and Feldstein just able to hold up.
Of course, you'd like, you know, he would like to throw a bunch of zeros, but it didn't happen.
Good call.
Get that barrel behind the hands.
Two out walk to Zach Susie. He's at first base. Feldstein batting with a 2-2 count and 2 out in the top of the 6th. Hits it on the ground, fielded cleanly by Graffinino. Easy play over to first. And UConn strands one in the top of the 6th inning. Still knotted at 6. We'll go to the bottom half. 6-6 our score. Connecticut and Washington. Washington with a win advances to a super regional. Bottom of the 6th inning. Part of the reason we're tied right now, that's what Washington was able to do at the plate. Joe Wainhouse goes the opposite way for a 3-run home run, his 3rd of the tournament. Washington scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. They were trailing 6-1 when that inning began. Able to tie it up. And that's where we stand right now.
Colby Dunlop in the game now, and he's a young guy. He's a freshman, 6 foot 182. He's got a good arm. Name a lot of freshmen. He's inconsistent. 90, 93 fastball, pretty decent breaking ball. He's just got to harness all that. Call him the Dragon. If you see his hair, you know why. He's got real red hair, and they nicknamed him, or somebody nicknamed him the Dragon. So, and it stuck.
Nick Cale, Joe Wainhouse, Levi Jordan to start things off here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Colby Dunlop pitched in the 9th inning of Friday's game, and he faced these same 3 hitters to start his outing. 3, 4, and 5 in the lineup. A little deja vu out there for Colby Dunlop as he delivers ball 1. One and 1. UCLA, a team out of the Pac-12, picked up their 2nd regional win today. They knocked Gonzaga out in Minneapolis 10-4. One pitch popped up. Winkle makes the catch, and that's 1 out. Cale retired. Stanford eliminated Baylor earlier today. Sorry about that.
Well, I was just going to say, if in Colby Dunlop, one thing, you got nothing to lose. And, you know, you just need to let it go. Kirsten did a good job, a lot of hits, but I mean, same thing. You know, just both these starters started. He battled, he kept his team in there and gave him a chance to get into the 6th inning.
0-1. Joe Wainhouse. 2 for 3 tonight. He's driven in 3 runs. So Stanford and Cal State Fullerton playing for that super regional spot out in Stanford, California. 1-1, that one's in the dirt. They're just now to game 4 of the Oxford Regional. Ole Miss and Tennessee Tech. You got a barn burner going there. It's 5-5 in the bottom of the 7th inning. This one's lifted into the outfield, and that'll fall in front of Stefanski. It's a 3-hit game for Joe Wainhouse. Took a little something off on that swing.
Caught it off the end of the bat a little bit. Dropped it into center field. That was Wainhouse, that's his 385-foot blooper that he hit. It's a good way to describe that swing.
3-hit night for Joe Wainhouse. A couple of singles and the 3-run home run. And now Levi Jordan to the plate. Runner on first and 1 out. Over in Clemson, South Carolina, Vanderbilt leading 6-3 over Clemson. Vandy trying to go 3-0 in that regional. It's now 11-3. Goodness, Vanderbilt has opened that wide open in the top of the 6th inning. Kaiser hit a grand slam for Vandy. Connor Kaiser. North Carolina trying to zip through the Chapel Hill regional. They're up 9-3 on Houston. 2-1. Ball to short, chance for 2. Wainhouse out at second. The throw over to first gets Levi Jordan. And a good half inning by Colby Dunlop. Back at the Conway Regional. That's what's happening, some of what's happening around the country. Finals from earlier today, 11-7, Georgia over Troy. Clemson's win put them in the regional final. Missouri State over St. Louis. That eliminates St. Louis in Oxford. 6-6 our score here in Conway. Richard Cross, Jay Powell with you from Springsbrook Stadium. Earlier today, Coastal Carolina eliminated by this UConn Huskies team. Troy Stefanski. Good ball game, 3 for 3. Make it 4 for 4 as he hammers that one down the left field line. Going to try and turn it into 2. Ball kind of died off the angled wall down the left field line. A leadoff double for Stefanski.
Stefanski is hot. That's for sure. Makes a good turn at first base, and that ball kicks off that angle wall. We've seen the outfielder struggle a little bit with that. You have these angles like that. If you're not your home park, you have to take a little bit of time to get used to, but I think that's a double either way.
Left fielder number 27, John Topa.
So a leadoff double. Now John Topa comes to the plate. 4 hits in the game for Stefanski, a season high. Topa's driven in 3. Takes first pitch strike. Ball to short. Jordan had to kind of handcuff him, handled it well. There's one away with a runner at third. UConn trying to take the lead. ESPN Networks bring you every game on the road to Omaha. Starting this weekend with regional coverage. It's all over the place. Whip around coverage is also available through ESPN3, the Bases Loaded channel. All coverage available on the ESPN app. Runner on third, 1 out.
A little bit surprised right now to see Washington bring the infield in. It's top of the 7th inning, but you got to think that getting into UConn's bullpen, that 1 run probably would not beat you.
Chris Winkle pitches away. Kind of interesting the way that McIver over at third base is playing this. It's almost like he's holding the runner, Stefanski at third, and then right before the pitch, he's kind of hopping off the bag, trying to keep from Stefanski from getting like a running lead.
Well, they're right now settling out almost to try to defense a safety squeeze.
Instead, it's a fly ball foul out of play on the third base side.
But you're exactly right. That's what he's doing. He's holding at third base. Emmanuel's is actually going off of him, and they're looking into the dugout, and they're getting a sign as far as what bunt defense or what pick is on. And he's going off the third baseman. When that third baseman breaks, he's either going to pick or he's going to pitch. Timing's everything on it. You got to wait for him to get in a position. Once he comes set, checks him, he pitches. Nice pitch.
There's a strike, 1 and 2 now to Winkle. One out, top of the 7th inning. This game is taking a turn that I'm not sure any of us saw coming. When it was 6-6 after 3 innings. Middle 3 innings have been all zeros for both teams. UConn trying to retake the lead here at the top of the 7th. Here's a chopper to short, fielded by Jordan. He'll come to the plate. Now you've got Stefanski in a rundown. And he is tagged out. Stefanski is the second out of the inning. Playing in pays off for Washington. Winkle ran all the way to second.
Nice job by the Huskies. Get the run down. Kale gets the ball out of the glove, go hard, one arm fake, freezes him, tags him out, checks the runner. You're exactly right. Playing in saved a run right there for sure.
Two out, runner at second. Chopper to third. McIver makes the throw over to Schiffer. What looked like a promising inning for UConn turns into another 0. 7th inning stretch time in Conway. Welcome back to NCAA Regional Baseball presented by Capital One. Getting late in Conway, South Carolina, late in this game anyway, bottom of the 7th inning. 6-6, Washington and UConn. Washington trying to advance to its first ever Super Regional. In their history, 7 opportunities to advance out of regional play and never been able to get it done. And going back to Thursday when we met with Lindsey Meggs and we asked him about kind of the next step for the Washington baseball program because they're in a regional for the 3rd time in 5 years. This one off the glove of Winkle. They've got a leadoff man on base in the bottom of the 7th. He said, well, we've got to get to a super regional. He said, we've been to some regionals. We've gotten to regional finals, but haven't been able to get it done. We've got to win a regional and get to a super regional. Well, they're a couple of runs and a few outs away from making that happen here in Conway.
That's exactly right. Once you start getting to super regionals pretty consistent, I think that's when you become one of those elite programs that so many schools are kind of shooting to be, and that's what they're trying to get right now.
Throw over to first, and Graffinino gets back in safely. Second hit of the game for Graffinino. And McIver was showing bunt. Want to get him in scoring position. Runs at first base side, fielded. No, it's going to go foul. Well, that's an interesting decision by Dunlop because you've got an out right there in front of you. If you pick it out, you've got an out.
Yep, I agree with you. I think you pick it up and get the out right there. If you got an out, take the out. He chose to let it go foul, and I tell you, that's another missed opportunity for a sacrifice bunt.
Another thing is, it's right in front of the dugout. He may have been getting instruction from the dugout to let it go foul.
Yep. Colby Dunlop, another one of those guys, got really quick feet, small frame guy, not a big guy, got a lot of levers that work really nicely on a pickoff move. Quick feet, gets the ball up, gets it out of his glove. Got a good move.
Slash this time, MacGyver fouls it away.
See that a lot from the Huskies. That's something Lindsey Maggs uses a lot. He likes to slash, he likes to put guys in motion. Sometimes though, when he slashes, he'll just do it. Not necessarily have a slash hit and run. It's just a slash. And third baseman started charging, but the first baseman was holding his ground. You want to try to make that first baseman feel the ball.
Now 2 strikes on Willie MacGyver. He takes strike 3. That is an unsuccessful at bat. You don't get the bunt down. Don't execute on the slash, then take a called third strike.
Going games close, late in the innings, you got to execute. This is just poor execute by the Huskies. Good pitch. Ends up being a really good decision now by Dunlop. Guess he knew what he was doing.
Christian Jones 2 for 3 tonight. Jones hits a fly ball to left. Stefanski into left center, I should say. Makes the catch, and they're 2 down.
The first baseman, number 3, Jonathan Schiffer.
Look at Christian Jones. I think he'll continue to develop. But a little surprised when you see only 2 home runs for him.
Yep. I think that's one
Big
of the
physical frame.
That's right, and I think a lot of it he's learning to really kind of turn on the ball, learning to drive the ball. He's got a ton of upside. He'll be a middle of the lineup guy for the Huskies. Hit 10 home run, 50 RBI type of guy.
It's a good season, right?
Pretty good. Unless you play for Coastal Carolina, then you're hitting 8.
This ball hit to third, and that is a foul ball. It's a catch. What a play by Moriarty over at third, diving to his left. Wide of the line, makes the catch. Washington strands a runner, and we go to the 8th. Six ball game, and what a game it's been. What a strange game it's been. Hour and a half to play the first 3 innings. Combined 20 hits and 12 runs. We've scooted through the last 4 innings in an hour with a combined 6 hits and nothing but zeros in the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
That was after my prediction that it would be a...
Yeah, you had it at 14-12.
I had it at 14-12. Yeah, I told Coach Kelly even that it was going to be a high-scoring game, and I think he kind of agreed with me, to be honest with you. He said he kind of had the same feeling. And boy, they've thrown up goose eggs ever since.
Stevie Emanuel's is the second pitcher that's been used by UConn. Colby Dunlop for Washington. Both of those guys have been pretty good. Kaiser Weiss has gone to right field for Washington. First pitch lined up the middle by Connor Moriarty in the 9-hole. That's his 2nd hit of the game.
Sometimes you see a guy make a great play in the field, lead off the inning with a base hit. That's exactly what he did. He smoked this ball right up the middle.
13 hits now in the game for UConn. That's the 2nd one off of Stevie Emanuel's.
Be careful here if you're Washington. Woodward's probably going to be bunting. He can run.
Woodward squares. chops it in front of the mound, and good sacrifice. Moriarty into scoring position.
Right off the front of the plate. See him get this big kick again. Nice job by Stevie Emanuel. Set his feet. Make sure you get a throwing lane because Woodward's going to mow it.
Anthony Prado. He's been on base twice. Doubled and hit by a pitch. Grounds it right back to the mound. They're going to try and get the lead runner. Moriarty in the rundown. He is tagged out. Anthony Prado does get to second base. You like that play by Washington?
Absolutely. You know, that's what you're taught to do as a pitcher. Ball hit back, you check that lead runner. He did exactly what he was told to do.
And you got to make a decision and get it out of your hand, right?
You got to make a decision, and it's a couple different ways that teams teach it. Some of them teach the pitcher to, if he's out there hung up, to run at the guy and start running him back to second base and initiate the rundown. And others teach them just, hey, get the ball out of your hand and get out of the way and let these infielders take it.
An intentional walk here to Zach Susi.
I think both of these guys, he and Fieldstein, are both equally dangerous, and I think they're just going to choose to go right on right versus going left on right. I tell you what, Manuel's better watch it. He's only got third base. It's these pitch outs. Pretty wide and pretty high.
Still got to do it at the college level, which really is a part of the game, and from time to time you see it change games if one of these gets away. The whole signal 4 from the dugout, big league level.
I think that's something you'll probably see trickle down into college baseball.
So Susi intentionally walked. This was Isaac Feldstein earlier today against Coastal Carolina. Feldstein has 1 hit in this game. He scored 2 runs. Jason Kelly. See if he's going to make a change or just talk to Emanuel's about how they want to pitch Feldstein.
I think this is more of a strategy conversation right here. You know, he's telling him, saying, hey, you know, there's a man on first and second, but you do have a base open at third base. Just don't lay one in there if you get behind the count.
For more coverage of the Division I baseball tournament and interactive brackets, go to ncaa.com. Isaac Feldstein hit his 14th home run of the season earlier today.
Good fastball right there by Stevie Emanuel. Would be definitely taking a shot, but backdoor pick for the catcher. The first baseman might be open right here. With 2 outs, it'd be a risk, but
Swing and a miss.
Zach Susi's got a big lead. And I don't think you're going to see it run the risk of throwing it in the right field, but it would be a possibility. I think you stay hard. Try to get that called third strike, go a little bit off the plate, get 3 or 4 balls off the plate. You don't want to speed his bat up.
Two down in the inning, runners at first and second. 6-6, UConn and Washington. UConn trying to stay alive and force a game tomorrow.
Do that slider, try to get a chase slider. I'd rather see it right there than on the plate right now. Emmanuel's got a good fastball. I think you challenge him here, go after him, locate that fastball down and away. If he's going to hit it out, if he's going to beat you, make him beat you to right field.
2-2. Strike three, call on the outside corner.
That's exactly what he did.
ESPN Networks bring you every game on the road to Omaha, starting with regional coverage this weekend. It's everywhere. It's on ESPN2, ESPNU, LHN, SEC Network, and ESPN3. Plus, whip-around coverage is available through ESPN3 and the Bases Loaded channel. All coverage is available on the ESPN app. Hey, you got games on here, right? So you got Ole Miss, Tennessee Tech. Ole Miss leading 6-5 in the 8th inning. Jay, you're at commercial. You were watching the Mississippi State game as well. We've been bouncing around on Bases Loaded all weekend long. Hey, we're fans just like you.
Absolutely.
I don't just read the promos. What's the hair loss? It's like I'm not just a.
Oh, it's.
I'm a customer. I'm not just the owner. Whatever.
He's not just a client. He owns the cars.
Yeah.
Something like that. You got to try the product out. This is about product satisfaction.
Well, there are a lot of folks back in Seattle, a lot of folks in stores and in the Northeast that are making use of the ESPN app as well. Sitting on pins and needles right now. Washington baseball trying to punch its first ticket to a super regional ever. UConn trying to get there for the second time. I saw a tweet earlier today from the mayor of Seattle wishing good luck to both the Washington Huskies baseball team, who was at the time 2-0, still on. This one's fouled away. And also the Washington softball team, who's in the Women's College World Series.
It's a good run by both programs. This Husky team can make that run. I think this is obviously a very important game for them. I don't think they want to go to another game right now with UConn. They need to get it done here.
Ground ball to short. Cirillo trying to reach his way on, and the sweep tag, they don't get him. Throw was offline by Prado. Throwing error. And Cirillo is on base to start the 8th.
That's one of the best fielders in this tournament. Ball just sailed on him. He wasn't able to get it. Almost got him actually on the foot, but he didn't get him. He's safe. I tell you, out of every player on this field right now, Jim Penders wants that ball hit the shortstop. He's one of the best ones. You very rarely see Prado make that play.
That's the third UConn error in this game. Ward showing bunt. Takes it high for ball one.
Got to get the out here. You can't let this thing turn into a big inning. Give you an out, give you an out, take it. Moriarty's out there settling them down. So is Susie. And I tell you the other thing, Moriarty, and that's what Lindsey Magg is going to talk about right now. He's going to take an offensive timeout because Moriarty's breathing down his throat. And you got a guy up there, and Ward that handles the bat pretty good. But you got to make sure you get that ball bunted toward first base. And he's a freshman. And we talk about freshmen bunting in college baseball. You know they're the best player normally on their high school team, so they never had to bunt. I mean, this is a lost art for a lot of these guys. You got to make sure he gets it down.
Richard Cross, Jay Powell with you. Conway, South Carolina. Braden Ward's got a single in this game. The other piece of this is Braden Ward can absolutely fly.
Until he's setting that bat. He's got that bat head pointed at third base. He's trying to make sure he gets that ball toward first base. You don't want to bunt it hard at that third baseman. If you do that, you got a shot at it. But you're right, he can absolutely fly. He's got to think sack in his mind. Keep yourself up here.
2 balls, no strikes. He takes it low for ball 3.
Now he's probably up there. Maybe he's going to probably show bunt, but you got to believe he's taking a strike here.
Is that the right play, or is this going to be the best pitch he's seen to bunt?
No, I think you take here.
And he takes a strike.
You got a freshman on the mound. Probably the biggest high-pressure situation he's ever been a part of. Force him to throw a strike there. Now you put the bunt back on. Have confidence in your guys. They can get it down 1 strike, and you should be able to. If you're a college baseball player and a good one, you ought to be able to get this bunt down the strike zone.
3-1, bunted back, fielded by the pitcher, dies right there. It's a successful sacrifice bunt. Just took 5 pitches to get it down. Cirillo's in scoring position.
Pitcher number 16, Nick Cale.
Nice job by Ward. He can fly. Gracious, he can run.
And if you're Washington, this is what you want, right? Nick Cale followed by Joe Wainhouse with the go-ahead run on second base, with you as the home team in a tie game in the bottom of the 8th.
Yep, this is what you want. And they're going to try to go after Cale, but I can promise you, if they get Cale out, Wainhouse is going to see 4 fingers up, and he's going to get walked. So it's going to be up to Cale and Levi Jordan to win this game for him.
Ground ball up the middle. Prado fields it, kind of flips it over, and they got the tag. On the back of Nick Cale. He went low, which was the right play. Prado, he may have some stuff running around in his head right now. He was in an awkward spot and actually had to kind of throw over second base.
I don't think there's any doubt right now. He's got a little thing going in his head. He had to, you see, the runner did the right thing. He went back to the bag, and he had to try to throw around him, but heck of a play by Wing. I tell you what, too, if Cale runs hard through that bag, he's probably safe. Looked like he pulled up just a little bit.
Here's the intentional walk of Wainhouse, as you expected.
Yeah, that was a little bit tougher play in the sense that you're exactly right. Cirillo was standing on the bag, which he had every right to do, but he had to kind of throw it around, and when he set his feet, Cirillo was right in his eyesight. And Jordan's had a good night. He's 2 for 4 with RBI. And if you've got a runner at second base with less than 2 outs, which they have had, and now they've got 2 outs, but you got 3, 4, and 5 up, hey, this is all you can ask for. One of these guys has got to step up and win the game for you.
And don't think Joe Wainhouse is not thinking about if one were to sneak in the general direction of the plate. He'd take a cut, no question. He had his toes right up on the front edge of the batter's box.
Yep. Well, in that second one, you saw Susie. He caught it, and he said, hey, throw that thing out here, man. I mean, we've all seen that before. He floats one in there, and the guy ends up hitting it 800 feet. Well, this is what they wanted if you're Washington. You got a chance to win it, but the guys that you count on to drive runs home, and Levi Jordan's having a super regional. He's doing a great job scoring runs and driving guys home, and he's just got to do it here.
I see what you did there.
What's that?
He's having a super regional.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
7 hits.
Smarter than that.
Over the course of 3 games for Levi Jordan. He's looking for 1 more. Takes ball 1.
I need to learn to take credit for stuff like that.
Oh, you nailed it, man.
I did. I nailed it. That's what I wanted to do. You're giving me way too much credit. I'm not nearly that smart, I promise you.
2 away. 1 ball, no strikes. A 6-6 game. Bottom of the 8th. Washington and UConn.
Too much, too big. Telling them right now that Washington dugouts, cut it down a little bit. Too big of a stroke there. Do what you can do. Stay within yourself. He's been good. See right there with the runners in scoring position all year.
Hey, do you know how many career hits you had in the big league?
I had 2. Thank you.
Our crack research staff had done that.
2 for
done the work. I just wanted to make
the,
sure.
I did hit 500 one year. Thank you. As far as I'm concerned, I led the league in hitting that year. I was 2 for 4 with an RBI.
So you went 2 for 4 in 1 year and 0 for 8 the rest of your career?
Pretty much it. But I'll tell you this now, and I know nobody wants to hear about this, at the bottom of the 8th, game of the line. I had 2 career pinch hits.
There you go.
Legitimate pinch hits. Struck out with it.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. First and second, 6-6 game. Big pitch coming. Chopper on the infield. These have been trouble, and it gets by the second baseman, Woodward. Cirillo decides to stay put.
Well, and they're making an argument the ball he was interfered with and possibly hit Wayne House, but I don't think it hit him. I think Wayne House just basically stopped. You can watch here. It's ain't against the rules. And the ball didn't hit him. I mean, that's what I think they were saying. There was no.
Well, it hit Woodward's glove first.
Right.
If it did.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's just a play he's got to make. But I tell you this, you got, as they call him, Sasquatch rumbling down the line at you. You're liable to kind of, what do they call it, alligator on that glove a little bit too. And it just kicked off the end of it.
Well, here's the other thing. Mason Cirillo stopped at third. If he, with 2 outs, just never checks up,
he scores.
Then he comes around to score.
Yep.
Because that ball kicked away, kind of back onto the dirt. Jim Pender's pleading his case.
I'm not sure what he could really be pleading. Possibly, you know, but.
Well, so Wainwright's got.
I mean, he runs straight to the bat.
Yeah, and look, I mean, if a batted ball hits a runner, then the runner is out and the play is dead. But that ball hit the glove of Woodworth first. And if it's deflected into a runner off of a player, then that's not a dead ball out on the base runner.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, if it ricochets off that glove and that runner, it's just there's no call. So I don't really know what they could be arguing there. I think that was a little bit. He saw that Woodworth was a little bit upset with the call, and a lot of times a coach, and Jim Pender's a good one, will go out there to kind of protect his players.
But you certainly don't. You want, as a head coach, the umpire to have to explain it to you.
Right.
And for you to put something in his mind that maybe he overturns that call. Here's A.J. Graffinino. Bases loaded in the bottom of the 8th. Cirillo, had he kept running, would have been able to score. They didn't try that. And so now a base hit for Washington puts them ahead. Graffinino fouls the first one away. What do you think? You think Dad's nervous right now?
He's sitting on the edge of his seat a little bit. He's been in these positions before.
Yeah, but it's way harder when your kid's there, right?
That is true. That is true.
No balls, 1 strike. Tie game.
Jay's been hot, too, for the Huskies.
He's got 2 hits in this game and takes a strike there. Graffinino in the tournament has 7 hits.
And Tony thought that was a little low. It looked like it was a little low. Ball's a little low. Tough to tell where it really crossed the plate, but it looked low. You got a battle here for your A.J. Graffinino. You got to give yourself up a little bit. Keep the barrel in the strike zone as long as you can.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. He lifts it to right. That ball's going to drop in, and more than 1 run's going to score. Cirillo comes around. Wayne House comes around to score. It is a bases clearing double. And the Washington Huskies have taken a 9-6 lead in the bottom of the 8th. What a clutch hit by Graffinino.
He's been clutch the whole regional, and what a piece of hitting. This little cutter in. Look how well he kept his hands inside the ball. His hand stays inside the baseball, stays short to it, and hits a missile down the right field line. Look, that's a guy that's played 14 years in Major Leagues. You don't think he gets excited when he sees his son hit a double? That is awesome.
Bases clearing double for A.J. Graffinino.
That kid's a player, man. The more I watch A.J. play, the more I like him. I'm telling you right now, he's going to be a big leaguer. He's just got that it factor.
Hey, it's 6-9.
Graffinino has 6 runs in the Regional.
Take one loss in all this is Kobe Dunlop. He's been a freshman. He actually did a pretty good job for these guys. They just let him down defensively.
0-2 now to Willie McIver. Foul away. This ball slapped to right field as well. Wainhouse trying to come home. What a throw from right field. Wainhouse is out at the plate. Feldstein with an outfield assist. And so it's pretty simple. 3 runs. That's what UConn needs to keep their season alive at the top of the 9th inning. Otherwise, Washington is headed to its first ever Super Regional. 9th inning coming up. The Washington Huskies, for the first time in program history, trying to win a regional championship and advance in the postseason. It goes back to the days when you had 6 or 8, I guess it was 6-team regionals. And the winners, the 8 winners of those 6-team regionals advanced to Omaha. In 1999, the tournament format changed. They've had a couple of opportunities to advance to a super. This is the best opportunity they've had. 3-run lead going into the 9th inning, and their closer on the mound, Alex Hardy. He's got 7 saves on the year, and he delivers a first pitch strike to Troy Stefanski.
This is a guy they want on the mound with the game on the line. He's got plus stuff, but more than that, he's plus makeup. Nothing gets to him, and he pounds that strike zone.
A.J. Graffinino with a 3-run double, cleared the bases. This ball dropping fast. Stefanski leads the inning off with a single for UConn.
And that makes him 5 for 5 on the night. He is having a heck of a week.
Troy Stefanski. Now has 7 hits in the regional. And John Topa comes to the plate here. UConn needs 3 to keep this game going. They score 3 or more, Washington would bat in the bottom of the 9th inning. Hardy delivers a strike. One and one. Washington has an all-time record in postseason play of 24-20. Their 25th win would be the biggest ever. This ball lifted into center field. Long run for Ward. He'll run it down in the right center field gap. Stefanski didn't think he would get there. It is a double play.
Well, you feel bad for Stefanski, but that cannot happen. Your run is meaningless. You got to get on base. You got to stay on base. And he just misread it. He thought for sure it was down, and he knew it right then. He's doubled up. What a break for the Washington Huskies.
A double play, and now Washington 1 out away. First 2 times these 2 teams have ever met this weekend. They met in the opening round game. Washington is the 3 seed, beat the 2 seed UConn 7-1. Different story tonight. We've been deadlocked at 6 since the 3rd inning until A.J. Graffinino roped a triple into the right field corner, or excuse me, a double into the right field corner to clear the bases and give the Washington Huskies a 3-run lead. Winner of the regional here in Conway will meet the winner of the Stanford regional. It will either be Stanford or Cal State Fullerton. There will be a short amount of time to celebrate for Washington. They'll fly home tomorrow, but final exams for the end of this quarter begin for the Huskies. And on the bus and on the plane tomorrow, they will have proctored exams as they head back to Seattle. That would be the flaw with the quarter system if you're a baseball player.
Absolutely. Come back to regionals, oh yeah. You got things.
2 balls and a strike to Winkle. Down and in for ball 3, 3-1. Both starting pitchers got into the 6th inning, or got through the 5th inning, which didn't look likely at one point. Stevie Emanuel's out of the bullpen, and now Alex Hardy for Washington have been great. There's a swing and a miss, and now a full count to Chris Winkle with 2 down in the top of the 9th. The Huskies fans that are here are on their feet. A little nervous energy waiting to explode. The full count. That pitch is up for ball 4. 2-out base runner. Winkle heads to first, and now Christian Fedko comes to the plate.
If they hadn't had that base running mistake, Fedko would have represented the tying run. We saw what he did in the game earlier in the 8th inning. Didn't want out of here to give UConn the lead. He's had another good regional.
First career home run for Fedko earlier today. As it is, he's got to reach base. And then Connor Moriarty would represent the tying run. And a leadoff single by Stefanski. He was doubled off on a ball that was hit into the gap by Topa that Ward ran down. Fedko gets ahead of the count. 33rd appearance of the year for Alex Hardy. He's up and in for ball 2.
Hardy just got to take a deep breath, set back in that strike zone. He came in pounding the strike zone, good low fastballs. Caught a break with a doubled off base runner on the fly ball to center. He's got to get right back in that strike zone. Struggling a little bit finding it.
Hardy worked 2 scoreless innings yesterday against Coastal Carolina. Here the 2-0. There's a strike on the corner, 2-1. Fly ball to center. Ward going back. He's calling for it. He makes the catch. And the Washington Huskies are going to their first ever Super Regional. Next weekend, they will play either the Stanford Cardinal or the Cal State Fullerton Titans. Lindsey Megg's club, and its 8th try, advances as a regional champion.
And they played well, and they earned it, that's for sure. You got a ball club that had a lot of timely hitting, got some big home runs from Wayne House, and good pitching. Bullpen did a good job today. Just a solid team effort from the Huskies. And I tell you what, they're a dangerous club because the last month of the season they were hot, and it showed up in this regional. They're red hot still.
They are now 2 wins away from Omaha in the College World Series. And when Joe Demers is going to start one of those games for you, you know that you got a great chance. He had an 8-inning, 1-run performance in the opener against UConn. Yesterday, Washington won a slugfest against the host, Coastal Carolina. 11-6 was the final there. And tonight it's 9-6. And it was A.J. Graffinino who was the hero late in this ballgame. At the bottom of the 8th inning, he delivered a double into the right field corner that cleared the bases, gave Washington a 3-run lead, and allows the Huskies to punch their Super Regional ticket.